Well, thank you indeed for staying with us here on KTN Business Today. On this second part of our discussion, we want to talk about the impact of that finance bill and on job creation. Of course, extrapolate some of the further measures that have been proposed and get insights into whether they will be effective or what we need to do about them. Prof, before we left, we had wanted to ask you, do you think this is a pro-job creation budget, or are we looking to fill in the debt hole that we have?
What we are looking for is to fill in the debt hole, fiscal. We want to improve our fiscal situation in terms of debt. But then, when you look at the employment creation, you would highly doubt it will not amount to that, because we are killing, say, the edible oil industry.
Yes.
We are killing those who are actually working in the bread sector. We are killing those who are working in the insurance, because we are going to touch on their penetration, the insurance penetration.
Yes.
We are killing those who are working in the financial sector, and generally businesses that are doing transactions daily, because we are going to increase the transaction fee. So we are killing quite a number of things, including even that issue of battery, So much of this is, if it passes through, we might not have more of creation of more jobs. Yeah, because as you have had, even companies, multinational companies that are employing people are actually faced with a tight situation in terms of the proposal. So we are not likely to see more of employment. It's going to be a bit shrunk, though we expect to get the money and pay back the debt and probably reduce the fiscal gap, but it will be a challenge. And maybe there would also be question in terms of our fiscal discipline, probably, like, what have we budgeted and what have we used? Is it really spent? Is it really spent the way it was budgeted? So those are questions that we probably need to answer. But largely speaking, we are not likely to see more people working or employed with this.
I want to quote from this document. Ken, I want to read out some of the, this is essentially, we want to look at excise duty for now. And this is the impact of excise duty on cooking oil, right? And we'll use as an example the 20-liter jerry can, right? Not necessarily the standard that most people use, but for our purposes. So the finance bill proposes the introduction of 25% duty on crude palm oil. That's at importation, right? It talks about 25% duty on the finished product, 10% excise on plastic packaging, and eco levy of 150 per kg on the packaging, right? So then I want to go through all the taxes that will be applicable and the difference that it will make, so that at importation, when the 20 liters lands, right, the crude palm oil will, of course, be hit with the 25% excise duty. Then we have a thing called the NOCD levy, which is the Nuts and Oil Crops Development Levy, 2%, no change. Excise duty we've talked about. In this case, it's going to add 616 shillings on these 20 liters. We have railway development levy, which is constant at 1.5%, so no change. Import declaration fee. This has increased by 1%, so adding about 10 shillings. It's actually 12 shillings and 32 cents. The port and storage is the same, processing is the same, parking is the same, transport. There's a question there because of the circulation tax and all that sort of thing. But the eco levy per kilogram is 150 times 20, right? Excise duty on the jerry cans. This is new, right? 20 shillings and 80 cents. Excise duty at sale, 25%. That's 995 shillings. VAT, of course, is going up, so adding some 287 shillings. So for a jerry can of 20 liters that was costing up something like 3,693, we're now looking at 5,775, an increase of 2,000 182 shillings. Is this war being declared on this sector?
I mean, it's hard to think of anything else besides that conclusion. And much of these taxes will be passed on to the end consumer. So if it's a restaurant purchasing that to make French fries, it means the cost of French fries to the customer will significantly go up. So again, you are creating an environment where the cost of goods and services is high up. That customer will say, okay, I'm going to stop
lower
eating.
End of the market.
I'm going to stop eating at that restaurant 3, 4, 5 times a day, a week. I'll probably go there once a week. So that even additional taxation that they would have hoped to get actually disappears. So it becomes a lose-lose
Think of
situation.
the person who would have bought the 2,000 shilling oil and is now buying a cheaper variety because, well, affordability and the health implications of that. Wouldn't that then have a knock-on effect on impact on the health sector?
It does, because now you're pushing people towards maybe unsaturated fat, which creates health issues. Now your health budget has to go significantly higher. So what you're avoiding in one area is actually creating more cost. So you're right, it does not give you the impression of a well thought out economic plan. And I think that's a concern people are raising within this public participation frames.
Prof, I want to close with you. There's a proposal to tax everything from wheelbarrow wheels to wheelchair wheels and that sort of thing. The wheelbarrow is the symbol of the ruling party. What do you think is happening here?
It's a challenge because the wheelbarrow is what brought the ruling party
Bottom
in.
up,
So, and who is using the wheelbarrow? We are looking at the person doing small-scale business in a certain market, puts the oranges in the wheelbarrow, pushes them. You tax that person with a little, very little income. So I don't know whether the disposable income is very little. So again, you tax the wheelbarrow. The wheelchair,
these are things that are supposed to be exempt.
So you see, again, when you tax that, then it's like the affirmative action, the issue of disabled people, you are making life difficult for them because they will not be able to afford. I want you to think of not a person who is disabled and is working, but someone who is in the village there, disabled. They are only, they can only move with that, and maybe it's supported, so you tax again. Then the son
you give with one hand and take with the other.
And the son or the daughter who is working in town, the income is going to be reduced because they are going to spend more on the mother or the father that is sick, aged, So some of the things we just need to come back to ourselves and rethink on the issues, the measures that what they would bring.
Okay, quite indeed to unpack here, gentlemen, but thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Of course, we hope to reconvene after the budget reading to sort of speak into what we will have had, what might have changed and what will stay the same. But thank you very much for your time. Indeed, that brings us to the end of this conversation. Thank you for taking the time here on KTN Business today. Stay with us because later on in the evening, of course, we will be unpacking more regards the budget 2024-2025 process. My name is Peter Wakaba. It has been a blast. Do continue to enjoy the rest of your viewing.